So today may seem like we're doing a lot, and we probably are. There were a few things that I want to tell you, and one thing I'm still trying to resonate with, but I'm going to tell you about it. The first thing that I want to tell you, well, first of all, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to all new people coming in. I'm so humbled by your love and your support in the comments. I love having you here, and it just makes me want to invite you for Thanksgiving, but I don't have enough room. So we'll all be together in spirit. How's that? What I did a little bit more research, and I found something that I'm just going to say was odd to the point that it was a little bit on the disturbing side. I believe it was in 2024, Savannah Guthrie wrote a book. And I'm going to put it up here for you. This is the copy, the cover of the book. It is mostly what God does. But in this book, from pages into the page number 80s and into the 90s, about 10 to 12 pages, she talks about faith. Now, you know what? I'm glad she has faith. We all need that. But then she talked about this very odd game that she and her sister Annie used to play with her cousin Terry, and how Terry used to come into the house and they would play the kidnapping game. And quote unquote, no kidding, I had to read it twice. The kidnapping game, where cousin Terry would come in, get the girls, take them out, and take them to Phoenix with her. Now, obviously, Nancy, I guess, knew about this, but then when they would get to Phoenix, the girls would call Nancy and she'd say, okay, well, just let me know when you're ready to come home. I just think that that's odd, and especially in that house. I don't know why that just didn't sit with me well, and it's probably just because of the current circumstances. But she mentions a lot of scripture, and one scripture that she mentions, and I just want to go over it with you very, very briefly because it hit me, okay? So many of you are familiar with it, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it. I have it here for you, and then we're going to get into some other things. It is the 23rd Psalm. It was written by David, and I'm going to hold it up here. If you want to, you can follow along. And then there's another reference that I wrote down, and yes, this Bible, I've had it for a few years, and yeah, hello. So it's very well used and loved. As follows: the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Now, before I go further, I should have said this before. In this particular chapter and verse, there's a reference of a shepherd and sheep the whole way through it. And I'm going to continue to bring you through there, and you'll understand what it is. But it's a Psalm of David, and we'll just start over. Okay. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That means you don't have to want for anything. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me into the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now, before I get into this reference up here, a rod and staff were carried by shepherds. One was for defense, and the other one was for help. And I'll tell you what, even to this day, a shepherd protecting their flock, I mean, No ninja could do any better if you would ever see any of these shepherds in action. Let me tell you, a rod and staff at that time could disarm or disable any threat that they had to the herd of sheep. It's very, the shepherds were not weak. Some people kind of think that they were, but oh no, they were the best of the best. Let's go to a reference of Luke chapter 1, verse 79. I marked it here so we can get there fairly quickly. Okay, here we are. This is Luke chapter 1, verse 79. To give light to them that sit in the darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. The shadow of death, my darlings, it translates in the Hebrew to a very dark place. A dark and can be immoral, but a very dark place. I like this in in verse number 4, where it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Valleys have shadow. Valleys are cool. Valleys are in some ways protected. But when you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, the shadow of death can actually be referred to in some regard as Satan, because Satan is considered to be death and is actually referred to that in the book of Hebrew and in Revelations. We won't go there now, and Shaggy agrees. So the fact that he says, though I walk through, that doesn't mean that anyone is camping out, staying for coffee. You're walking through. And you're walking through at a very good pace. Let's continue. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. That is the cup of a shepherd. The shepherd has a water cup that he will take with him. That is the cup of a shepherd. And that's when they say, when your cup runneth over, that means that you're abundant. Anointing your head with oil. What oil? The oil of your people. In James chapter 5, you anoint the sick. You anoint what's not good. You anoint, listen, when back in the day when I was single and I would anoint my car when I would need to, right? James chapter 5, it's olive oil. Blessed olive oil. And yes, you can bless your own olive oil. I do. After you have a little vial of olive oil, I carry it with me in case somebody needs a little blessing. It's not the oil, it's the action behind it. But when you anoint it, you can't cook with it, okay? That's a big no-no. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And so will Shaggy. Amen. Okay. So now let's do this. Here we are. And we have the next entry. Here we are. Now, we are Monday. It's actually President's Day in the United States. And guess what it is? It is a federal holiday. It is 16th of February, 2026. And at the making of this video, it is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, even though a lot happened yesterday, a lot didn't happen yesterday. And it seems always, I just feel in this particular case that I'm riding with a student driver in a Volkswagen Bug that is a manual transmission, and that cannot let the clutch out smoothly, and you just keep, yes it is, no it isn't, yes it is, no it isn't. We had one reporter come out and say, oh, we have a trusted source that said this was a botched robbery and that they presume Nancy is alive. I would like to presume that as well. Just a minute. Shaggy wants to play. Give me a second. That is the Shaggy Noodle Man. And once again, like a toddler, they're quiet all morning. And they even have cat TV on. And if you look for cat TV on YouTube, they watch Bird TV. Bird King, I think. Bird King TV, something like that. And when you first turn it on, it has a little bird that comes on and whistles. And when they hear that, that's like, hello. All right. Back to the present. So it's been like this stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. And then the sheriff comes out and says, oh, no, I don't know. I've never said that. That doesn't resonate. And then everybody, it's like they're doing this sort of thing to just give the media something to do. I'm going to tell you this, and when I get these messages, it doesn't really bother me. But I guess it bothers me because I try to open my ears and my eyes more so I can listen more. I've been staying up throughout the evening and watching live broadcasts and overnights and all this other, usually till 3 or 4 a.m. Do I sleep? No. I turned my TV off and I turned over in bed and I was just kind of meditating and, all the what you do before you go to sleep. And I felt a presence, an energy, not spiritual, an energy presence, and I heard an audible word. And I know it came from Nancy. And it was hesitation. That was the word. And that came Sunday, early mornings of Monday, so we'll put it here. And a hesitation. I know it was from her energy because I was thinking about her, and no other energy is usually allowed to come in when I'm working on one particular case unless it is invited. Shaggy. And after thinking about this, because I sat up and I'm like, what? Do you want to say something more? And it was just quiet. I mean, it goes quiet when usually energy like this comes in. And then I think I figured it out. I believe there's a hesitation in either telling the family the truth, or there's a hesitation in completing this because they don't want to come out with the truth. There's a hesitation there. People are hesitating. And if you go back right from the beginning and look, when this started, I came in on day 3. But when this started in the early morning of February 1, because we're going on week number 3 now, February 1, there was a hesitation. They found the door ajar. And that bothered me too. They found the door ajar, and yet, when did they call the police? You know what I mean? It's like, are people second guessing themselves? Now, we are getting ready for a Mercury retrograde, number 1. And number 2, tomorrow, Chinese New Year, there's a solar eclipse, there's a new moon, and then there's the fire horse that is coming through, all at the same time. And for a 72-hour period, you need to set positive intentions, no matter what, because we're not going to see this for another 60 years. And I'll make you a deal. I'll meet you right back here in 60 years. How's that? Okay. The positive part is, and that's a joke, the positive part is keeping a positive attitude and positivity in your life, regardless of what it is. But now we have February, and I've said right from the beginning that February was going to be a dark side of the moon month. But it's also a month in which things are coming out on cases, and we're preparing to go into this Mercury retrograde. I'll let you know when it is. And you watch stuff start coming out. But all this stuff with the gloves, 16 pairs of gloves or 16 gloves. Who throws their gloves out? Searching Walmart, doing this sort of thing. Now look, that's what you do in these investigations. But I've seen 2 court cases last year with no body in Massachusetts. Jennifer Dulos was one of them. There was a doctor who was another. She still is not, but neither one of these 2 ladies are found. I can't remember the doctor's name. I know most of you will. And I know his mother was involved. Anyway, I don't know about this DNA that they're getting ready to put in. I just don't know. This whole thing of, oh yeah, we have DNA. Oh yeah, we're going to do it. Oh yeah, we're going to put it through the codex now. Well, that means that there's not anyone in the database that has DNA. Well, normally you're not in the database with DNA for whatever reason. But just because they found a glove with a male DNA doesn't mean that they're going to be able to connect it back to the house. In the meantime, the house is vibrating like Nancy's pacemaker, like her pace, and that's metaphorically speaking for those of you who are listening. So this is so different. Now, many of you requested that I printed this map to be a little larger, and when I did, it came out larger, but it didn't. It wasn't. It's not that much larger, and it can't be that much larger because you won't be able to see me do the pendulum, and we're going to do that, and then I'm going to read a few cards. But these are just, see, I told you it was just kind of like we feel like we're right now waiting. And then, of course, TMZ, Harvey with TMZ this morning said, oh, you know what? You contact us. Now, to me, in my opinion, what do they say about opinions? I think he's trying to get involved with the case. And do I feel that that's an interference? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. He's inviting this person to reach out to him, and perhaps he can liaison with the FBI. Come on. Come on. I did not like it after I saw these people laughing about Charlie getting his ticket to the upper room, if you know what I mean. I've lost a lot of with them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try. I'm going to get my pendulum out. We're going to try to see where this takes us. And many of you are so thankful, and you're very welcome about the video yesterday. I think that gave us a lot of insight. But this right here, this circle right here, is where Nancy's home is. This is Tucson proper. And by the way, I got to tell you something. I used to have a client who used to call it Tucson, Arizona. She knew better. I don't know why. But let me settle Mr. Shaggy Noodle down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I made this a little closer. Hopefully you can see. So we're starting out with the pendulum today. And I'm just going to put it like this so you all can see how we use it. And I'm holding it back here so that way there's still an energy. So I think you can see it. I'm trying to look. Pendulum, please let me know if you see Nancy's house. That is a yes, for those of you who can see it. I'm going to try to move now. And I'm resting on my table and on the armrest. Okay, so that's Nancy's house. Pendulum, I want you to pick up her energy from this house. Can you feel the house vibration and the energy? That answer is yes. Okay. Now, Pendulum, rest for a moment. Oh, I can feel the tingling in the chain. Okay, now Pendulum, I want you to trace where Nancy is. Look at that change direction. I want you to trace where Nancy is. Pull me to where Nancy physically is. And I'm going to do a little, do you see how that looks like it's going sideways? Because that's how much the pull is. Is Nancy around her house? No. I heard helicopters going around there this morning. I know they're trying to get a connection with the pacemaker. Yes, it confirms. All right, Pendulum, where is Nancy? Is Nancy in the Tucson area? Is she in the Tucson area? Okay, it's going yes around the Tucson. So, okay, so she's in the Tucson area. Can you please point us? Wait, rest. I've got another question. Are they moving Nancy from one spot to another? The kidnappers? No. Okay. Please pull us to where Nancy is. Show us where Nancy is. Okay, I'm going to pull down here and we're going to see. And see, it goes off the frame. But it keeps coming into this. And then I read that 23rd Psalm, still waters. Is there a water reference to where Nancy is, Pendulum? Any type of reference. It can be a word. It can be water. It can be a direction. Water Street. Is there? Okay, so it's saying yes. So I'm going to pull over here so you can see the pull of the pendulum. You see how it just stopped? And that just means just a complete stop like that. There's no energy over here for her. And I will say this. If she is no longer here, her energy still is around. Okay? So, pendulum. Okay, I'm going to put, and you're going to see it start moving. Okay, there's her house again. Pick up that energy. Now I want you to move us show us where Nancy is. Show us where Nancy is. I'm moving my arm, not my hand. I'm moving my arm. Show us where Nancy is. Oh, I can feel, it's like a pulse, for those of you who would like to know. And this is all about energy. It has nothing to do with anything nefarious. Is Nancy around this interstate right here? Is she close to the interstate? Do you see how it's tracing that? There's a golf course there. Silver Bell Golf Course. I don't think that she's around there based on what I'm seeing. And look, it goes still. Okay. So point to where she is. Okay, let me ask you this. Is Nancy in Mexico? Counterclockwise is a no for all of those that you want to know. So it's no. Is she still in Arizona? Yes. No, I am not going to ask the condition of Nancy. Okay. Where? So it shows that she's right here. It shows she's right here. Okay, my friends, let me get the cards. I'll be right back. Here we are back again with a setup for the cards. I'm so excited to do these today. We have the key. We're going to move the hand of fate with the key over here to the side. You'll see it just a little bit, but we need to make room because you know me. If I had a football field, we would use it. All right. And yes, I probably, no, I don't have enough cards for a football field, but maybe a basketball court. There we go. We're going to start out with the House of Zelda. I have cleared the table. I have cleared the decks. I have shuffled before we're asking. And right now I'm going to ask for a base, a foundation. Where do we go from here? And by the way, don't know if many of you heard, President Trump has sent a personal message to the kidnappers, the captors. Basically said they need to turn over Nancy now. I'm paraphrasing. If Nancy is no longer with us, they will face very dire consequences. Thank you. Now, we're not going to make this political because I don't do politics. And if you do, it's going to be held anyway, and I won't see it. And probably anyone else will. I'm going to tell you where I'm going with this. This has gotten a lot of attention. There are a lot of cases that get a lot of attention. But I'm working on a couple of cases that have never gotten any attention whatsoever. And law enforcement has just literally dropped. Basically, almost the same mirror type of case with an elderly woman who vanished 11 years ago. No clues, cold case. Obviously, she's gone, but the family just wants answers. And you know, I just wish we could pay enough attention to everyone. And I know it's impossible. And I know why this happens. But I'm also going to tell you my opinion. I do not believe at all that this was a burglary that had gone bad. When they said that yesterday, I wanted to put that in my big book of bull. And that's where this hesitation came in. Do the right thing. We're going to take one more card. Seek more knowledge. Bottom of the deck. Help is coming from the cosmic unknown. I do believe that. I believe that this is getting to the point where it's just seriously ridiculous. Now, let's go over these. Doing the right thing. It's funny because Savannah Guthrie put that video out, was it yesterday? I have lost track of time. Forgive me if I say whatever, because my days run into each other now. I believe Savannah, in her last message, I will say, basically said, do the right thing. It's not a coincidence that that comes out. Haunted by the past. I believe that this is way bigger because for President Trump to make such an announcement, I believe that he knows that it's way bigger. Time to rest. Now, I believe that everyone needs some rest in this. I mean, people are working on fumes, and a couple of people that I follow that are there, boots on the ground, are just running on fumes. This is going into week 3. And to seek more knowledge, open book, get down in it. Yes. Yes. I'm not going to be critical of law enforcement, the officers and the deputies. I'm not going to be. I think they're doing the best they can do. They depend on leadership, and let's just remember, they can't do anything independently. They depend on leadership. Let's see what tarot have today. I'm so glad that you're here. The Empress, the Temperance, and the Yes card. the eight of Pentacles. This Empress card, I want you to know this. Over the last few days, and even today with the Pendulum, you see we've got, I don't have a pointer here. Yes, I do. We'll use this stick. There's a reference of waterfall and trees. Now this Empress card, the counterpart of the Emperor, is all about ruling from a relaxed state. Could that have some reference? I believe so. Taking a breath, because you know, you have to rest, you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to focus, charge your batteries so you can give it your all again. Nobody can run on fumes. This card, you see there's a lot of passion and compassion. This is a card of a birth of a new beginning. Do I feel that's happening? Yes, I do. Now, this Temperance card can have a lot to do with law enforcement, by the way. Loyalty, the card of a Sagittarius, just for those of you who want to know. I don't believe Sagittarius has anything to do with this. And by the way, time out. I was telling you about the Chinese New Year, the new moon, the eclipse. All of that is happening in the sign of Aquarius. I'm pretty sure. That's an air sign. Then we have a fiery horse. Air fuels fire. I'm pretty sure now it could be Aries. Pardon me. Okay. We'll see. I know you're going to let me know in the chat. Believe me. All right. Here is another water reference again. A pond, a pool, mountains in the background. You see this little crown right here? That's the crown and glory. Got a little ways to go yet. The pathway is not wide. It is not short. It is a narrow path. I believe this has a reference to where Nancy can be, in my opinion. But notice the wings coming off the frame of the card. Coming off this idea of they're not done yet is what that means. But I'm going to also tell you what it means when an angel's wings come off the frame of a card. It literally means that this is much bigger than what we could ever imagine. And this also means right here, you see when someone is enlightened, and you see a lot of Renaissance paintings when, like, let's just say Christ or the 12 disciples, they have this yellow ring. It means that they are enlightened. There's an enlightenment. I think there's going to be an enlightenment where Nancy is. There's going to be this like, wow, oh yes, type of thing that happens. But it's going to require a balance. Now this is interesting. Snow, 5, and a woman in her bare feet. Here's the deal. This is a card that most readers will say, oh my gosh, you're going broke. This is horrible. You're broken financially. Yes, but I want to take it one step further, and I believe that we can. 5 in biblical numerics is grace. It can be probation, meaning a trial period. But you see this, I'm going to say this mother type figure with this young person that you can see she's responsible for, because this young person is looking at her like, what do we do? We're in dire straits. She's in her bare feet. It's cold. They're grounding. And I believe what this is basically saying is, look, It feels like law enforcement has come to a dead end, but I don't believe so. I believe they know more, and I believe that's where that hesitation, that word came to me overnight. I believe there's more. I believe that they're hesitating to say, and it seems as though they're grasping at straws, but there's a terrible hesitation because they are being watched worldwide. And if they say something wrong to the family, and quite frankly, do I feel that the family is getting updates? No, I don't. And I think that's why Savannah, who I felt very bad for her. Beautiful in her own right, but you can tell that the stress is taking its toll. And it's so sad. Here we have the S card, the Nine of Cups. Do I feel that Nancy will be found? Yes. I cannot tell you when right now. But yes, I do. It may be after the 27th of this month or closer to that date. This particular card, and it's funny because many people say this fellow here looks like John Travolta, and every time I see this, I have to laugh. But this is a very good card, and this means your dreams come true, your wish fulfilled. It's the yes card. He's lined all of his little cups up here like little trophies, and he's sitting here very accomplished. Now, this card references this goal back here. So this is really taking us through now the next thing and what's going to happen. And what is this card? Well, this 8, number 8, is significant. The 8 of Pentacles, grounded, you can say coins if you like, is very grounding. But this is a card that basically says you got to stay consistent. So I believe that. I believe you got to stay consistent instead of just every day thinking, okay, well, we have to just shoot from the hip and see where it lands. No. Stay consistent. Let's pull out the Kipper. And thank you so much. If you've made it this far in the video, do me a favor and put a 1. Do me a favor and put a 1 in the comments so I know you made it this far. And I also want you to know the comments are averaging 500-600. I wish I could answer you all. I try to heart your answers and your comments, and thank you so much for that. I wish I could. It's so much. There, that's Nancy. That is a courthouse. Thought. On the bottom of the deck, an official person. Yes. This is telling me that I believe that Nancy will either be found or there will be something happening very soon. Now, I'm not going to say anybody with law enforcement had anything to do with this because I don't believe that. But I do believe that one of these people was a wannabe. You've met him. I've said that yesterday. I've met him. I know somebody right now. Can't get into the military, but they dress like they are. They get the haircuts. It's the wannabe. They watch all of these military type programs till you think you just want to split, right? The court is going to have a lot, and there are 2 5s. Coming together is a 10. And a reference to the 7. I mean, right here. So a 10, we add the 1 to the 6 as a 7, then we have a 7 here. I'm going to say, my darlings, we should, if everything goes the way that is right now, we should know something within the next 14 days or 2 weeks. Within. Don't think you have to wait until the eve of the 13th day. Within the next, anytime from now until the next 14 days should be significant if things remain the way they are right now. I'm going to put it out there because of this card and because of these cards right here. Yes, I feel that there's going to be, yes, there's a definite thought about Nancy. Here she is, the mature woman, and here's Grandma's cards. Gypsy witch, no gypsy here. No witch. A cauldron of tea, definitely, and most definitely the kitties. Let's see what happens. The writer. So someone is going to be coming in with news. The Two of Clubs. This is a card that basically says there's an accident because of a robbery. Now, do I believe that this was a robbery? No. But I do believe, okay. But I do believe that this is it was not a botched up robbery. What were they going to steal? She has jewelry, but come on. This is much bigger. And you see we have a 14 reference there, so I know. And you see the 4s here? Every card has a 4, at least one. So this card with the lightning, it's a surprise. It's like an out of the blue. It's like the 8 of Wands. Coming out of the blue, you don't see it. And then we have the writer here. And we have a person here that I do believe is involved. I think we're going to find somebody. I believe Nancy will ultimately be found, but within the next 14 days, something is going to be happening significantly. Then we have this journey. It has been a journey. We're on week 3. And this card right here, a broken glass. And I'm just going to say it denotes a death. Then this extra joker alongside this despair. This extra joker, and I'm not saying that about Nancy, I'm just telling you what it means because I don't like to predict that kind of thing. That's not my job, that's God's. Extra joker is all about something hidden. She is hidden. Now, I'm going to say I don't think that she's in some, I don't know. Her energy, I'm just going to say she's hiding in plain sight. Can I say that? Yeah, I think that I can. Let's see here. Money, falseness, jealousy, and a lover. Now, this lover, on the bottom of the deck is a misfortune. It was not a lover. That lover card can be somebody that she is close to. That's what this deck... Remember, some of these decks are very old-fashioned. This deck has been around since, I believe, the 1930s. Not this particular deck, but the deck itself, the Gypsy Witch fortune-telling cards. And if you go to buy them, there are 2 or 3 different versions. Make sure you get the correct one. These are the Piotnik decks. And there are several versions of these too. But there's a misfortune here, and it's all pointing to misfortune. Could this be the lover, this guy? Not a lover of Nancy, but a lover of someone else? Yeah, The guy that was pinpointed, for sure. So, my friends, the king of it's money, but I'm going to tell you, based on what I'm seeing here, the hope of having a proof of life is dwindling. That's Nancy. This card and the swords are communication, they are thoughts and so forth. But you see, there is a light coming. Let me hold this up for you so you can see it. Yeah, this guy looks pretty dire straits, but reference the water back there, and it's dark. Oh boy. Card now is going to remind me of the 23rd Psalm, Valley of the Shadow of Death, but this is not a valley. Oh no, still water. There we go. But this is all about your thoughts, communication going awry. The community has rallied for her. It has just really been something. And there we go. This is serious. Yes, the longer it goes on, the more serious it gets. With the fish, another water reference, says a distance. And the distance based on the cards, it is foretells something that is not good and possibly could be a disaster. That's what that means. Under the moon. We have a new moon tomorrow, my friends. And this card, the Five of Hearts, is all about decisions. The moon coming out is a good card that just means things will start happening now. And I think we have to get to the point where we have to understand, and there's more money, the sadness. I do believe this references one of the kidnappers or the captors and the sadness of the family. But I do believe that the longer this goes on, the more we have to prepare ourselves. That's the reality of this. Not to worry, my darlings. I'll be back really soon. See you then.